This is Deborah Johnson for Women at Halftime, and I'm passionate about helping women use their untapped skills, resources, and talents to create their ideal work and lifestyle, making a difference in their second half. Just to preface today's episode, I wanted to announce that today is the 100th episode for Women at Halftime podcast, and I'm so excited to make that announcement. This has been a very, very fun journey for me, and once a month I bring on my husband Greg, which he is with me in this episode, and I am on twice a month, and then I bring on a guest once a month, and the format has worked so well, and it's been so much fun, and I'm looking forward to continuing to be with you every week. Thank you so much for joining me. And so now, without any further ado, I invite you to listen to our 100th episode of the Women at Halftime podcast. Well, hello. It is great to be here with you today, and Greg is with me. Say hello.
Hi, everybody.
And we're tackling this subject, major milestones in life and relationships. And I chose this subject for us because we have been in a relationship for a very long time and have gone through many of the areas that we will cover today. So before we really get going, I'd like to encourage you again to connect with me not only on the podcast and on my website, goalsforyourlife.com or womenathalftime.com. I have 5 websites, so you can find me almost anywhere. But also on Instagram, it's Deborah_JohnsonWorks. Deborah_JohnsonWorks, or even my music, which is a fairly new Instagram, Deborah_JohnsonMusic. And sometimes I put out challenges, 5-day challenges now and then, and I usually post those on social media sites so you can see those. So, okay, so let's get at our major milestones. And I'm laughing because we have this little dog named Amelia, and her favorite place is behind Greg's neck. And it's just so cute, but she just hopped down now. So, but this is family time, and talking about major milestones in life. And you termed another term for this of significant moments. And can you explain what you felt like, when you?
Generally life moves along in kind of a line. And, we get up every morning, jump in the hamster cage, start pedaling. 5 o'clock comes, we jump off the hamster cage, come home, take care of the kids, fix dinner, rush to get in bed, and then we jump up and do it all over again. Mm-hmm. But there are significant moments along that linear path that we travel to our golden years, and that's what we wanted to talk about today, the major milestones or significant moments in life.
Yes, because really it is. Life is a journey, and I kind of picked out several areas here, like 5 areas that we're going to just briefly really talk about, because we could really do a podcast on each one of these. But one is career choice, and then a life partner. We've talked about that a little bit before, but having kids, and financial decisions, and then growing older. But each of these are significant moments or major milestones. And so, and how they've affected us, and maybe looking back and how we can help others as they make some of those changes. So, first of all, career choice. And in my opinion, you never make a career choice just once in life. You are kind of shifting around a little bit. And I always earmarked that book, So Good They Can't Ignore You. And Greg, why don't you comment on this? If you've not read that book as well, by Cal Newport, I think it's a must-read for not only every entrepreneur, but everyone in business, and understanding the process of being so good they can't ignore you, because we have a world full of so-called experts. So
I think it'd be important to talk about that book just real quick. Cal's premise was there are a lot of people entering the workforce who've been fed the line that you need to pursue a career that's going to give you significance. So they spend years taking tests and trying to discover what their passion is really all about. Mm-hmm. And based on his study, what he ended up discovering is that we develop our passion, most of us, as we move along, and as we become good at something. The better we become, the more passionate we become to it. And by all measurements, the people that are most happy with their jobs are the ones that are good at their jobs. And so that was an important factor. You know, there's always the exception, but exceptions do not prove the rule. And you may be listening and been one of those exceptions and knew what your passion was when you were 18 and pursued it. But most of the world does not operate like that. Right. Most of us, our passion follows what we end up being good at, which is why, you know, through high school you should be trying all sorts of things, and even in college, and figuring out, is there something that I'm really interested in?
Right.
So, and college is basically designed to expose you to the various disciplines of life. Mm-hmm. So, going on from that, though, career choice is one of those significant moments because you start on the path of becoming good at something. A number of years ago, I had a milestone birthday, and I invited a bunch of my high school teammates to this party, and we were all, you know, near the end of our careers, and the conversation always came. So, how did you get into your career? And to a person, none of us started our careers ever thinking we'd end up where we were. You know, it was, you know, Mr. Magooing our way to success. You know, just kind of stumbling along. Yeah. And this decision led to this decision, which led to this decision. And finally, we ended up with the accumulation of skills and experience that allowed us to finish our careers well. Yes. And so the first career choice isn't the critical one. Yes. It's how you perform in each career choice that ends up being really significant. Yes. And something I wrote down was, happiness is significantly affected by being good at something. Yes. Once you've achieved something, your current skills and past achievements become the springboard into probably your great next step in life. Yeah. But you got to become good at something and develop some experience in the field. And that's what gets you going.
And not to discount your experience, because one of the things I share about as I've expanded my career into the area of speaking, I did not leave my music behind. I've been a professional musician, a composer, and I've toured all over on large stages. And but I didn't leave that behind because there were some amazing principles that I learned.
Yeah, there were a lot of transferable principles from the business of music that you were able to incorporate into your next career. Yeah.
Very much so. And actually, I am learning more at this stage of my life. I think that's another attitude in a career choice even is, you know, taking that attitude of a lifelong learner, because I'm learning a great deal constantly. I want to be growing in my career and in my ability to help others. And I'm getting, you know, just today at another inquiry and helping people putting on online programs and how to format it and how to use the technology and all of that. And that's not usually my main emphasis, but I have helped a lot of people propel their careers along as well. And it's helped me because I've gone through that same journey. So, and I think learning from that and really achieving the goal of where we want to be, but utilizing everything that we've got, definitely.
Yeah, and one thing you and I talked about is to be careful not to use experience and achievement as synonyms. They're related, but in our world, there are lots of Instagram successes. Yes. And they are piling together pictures of experiences. Yes. And somehow thinking that translates into achievement. Right. That is not what you meant by, you know, using your experiences. Right. It's skills and past achievements, things that you successfully actually experienced and turned into achievements that end up being the springboards to real success and happiness.
Right.
Our world is full of posers.
Yes.
And, if you follow social media at all, you can spot a poser, really quick.
Yes.
So I guess the takeaway is our career choice is certainly a significant moment in our life, but there are going to be a series of them.
Yes.
and ideally, they all build and develop an internal synergy inside you.
Right.
That leads you to probably some sort of enduring career.
Yes.
Somewhere at the last 20 years, 15 years of your life will have led you to something that is really significant.
Yes, and that's the significance part, and it's what I talk about in the multiple times in a roundabout, and how we have to go through those steps again and again and again, and they don't come just once. So
certainly there's roundabouts along that linear career path. Yeah.
Yes, and I encourage everybody, okay, become a roundabout hero. You need to accomplish this in your life. So let's move on. Again, we could spend the whole episode on each one of these, but life partner. Now, this was a major one. I mean, we are just as we are airing this, or we are actually recording this particular show, we're celebrating another anniversary. We met on a blind date, but we had a couple of the areas that really melded here with similar values. Our background wasn't totally different. It was different, but we also understood each other in the aspect of entertainment, because you were professional baseball. You knew how to entertain. That's part of what you play the game, but it's still entertainment. And me, of course, in performance and music and writing. So let's talk about the high impact and huge impact on the future, and importance also of commitment in this, because it's a commitment.
Yeah, and obviously marriage is one of those major milestones or significant moments in life, and Debbie and I were fortunate enough that God was just watching over us.
Yeah.
Because what we're about to share with you is based on retrospect, and how fortunate and full of grace that our lives has been, because we did not know what we were about to say to you when we got married.
In fact, we didn't hardly knew each other now that we look back.
Yeah, right.
My God, what was I thinking? No, I got very fortunate.
So Deb mentioned commitment and values. I think adding thankfulness and the ability to talk through issues.
Yes.
If you put the commitment to marriage, similar life values, the ability to talk, and then the willing to focus on being thankful, as opposed, thankful for the 90% that's good in your partner, and pushing the 10% that's bad kind of aside. And maybe it's not bad, and maybe it's just slightly annoying. But most people, when they ruin their marriages, ruin it because they focus on the 10% and stop communicating.
Yes. Wow.
And just having obviously watched thousands of couples come and go in our life, the only bit of advice is watch out for persons who assume marriages don't last.
Yes. That's a good one.
One of the fruits of having a divorce rate of 50% is your potential spouse probably has experienced a marriage that didn't last, so they go into the marriage assuming that it won't last. And when that happens, they'll be quick to stop communicating and also quick to stop being thankful. And that's tough. And marriage is not rocket science. It's really just an effort in communication and endurance a lot of times, and choosing to be thankful.
Right.
So but it's a, and what's interesting is it's a big initial decision, but I think you'd agree that marriage is a compilation of thousands of decisions.
Right. Yeah, because dating and your relationships and things that that have gone before, a lot of that kind of teaches you of what you really don't want, or what you and what you're. And when something, I think that's why we sort of hit it off. It was the timing for us too, because I was finishing graduate work. You were on break. You were pretty sure you're going to be released from baseball because of your hurt arm, but we were still ready to go. We were able to work out.
Yeah, because one of the values we had about marriage is that you're building a life together.
Yeah.
You're not waiting till you got your life all squared away.
Yes.
And then two people with squared away lives, come together in marriage.
Right.
Marriage is about building a life together,
right,
and enjoying that process.
Right.
But when we talk about thousands of decisions, so it's thousands of decisions to choose to be thankful for somebody and kind of laugh off the goofiness.
Yes.
And it's thousands of decisions about have those little conversations before they need to be big conversations.
Right.
And how you approach those little conversations, that they're neutral, they're not attacking.
Yes.
So that's the impact of marriage.
Right. Well, again, we could spend the whole time on this, but so that's a big one, and it would be really fun. Maybe we'll do that sometime. Having kids. Let's move on. We've done the career choice, life partner, having kids, and I will just put this out there that I had no idea what was ahead when we started having kids.
And neither did I.
Yeah, it was just the thing that. Everybody was having kids. My sisters were having, kids. Actually, I think my sister Sandy already had her first, was pregnant with her second. I don't know. She had so many. Anyway, but I had no idea. I just remember right before we had our first that I realized I am never going to be alone again. And actually, I'm alone again more now having grown kids, but still not,
Right.
Totally, because we're still in contact completely with them all the time. But it's... it was just that decision, and I respect people who decide not to go this route. That's fine. Although they have been such a joy to us as well, and I've learned and grown through this. So, but they do change your life, and you are called a parent now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember while Deb was pregnant with our first, I realized that being married without kids was really easy. It was like a perpetual date.
Yes.
And I remember thinking to myself the week before she was due that this is the last week we'll ever be alone for about 25 years.
At least.
And, that's the reality, and you don't think about that before you guys get pregnant or before you have kids.
Yeah.
But it's the reality is it's a long-term commitment.
Yes.
And then even after the kids are grown and out of the house, you are now the parent of independent men and women.
Yes.
And the goal is to kind of be their long-distance partner in life.
Mm-hmm.
You as a parent have got a couple of things that are really important. One is you've got a lifetime of experience that they don't have. Remember that they're at the age, when you didn't know anything, and they think they know it all, just like we think we knew it all.
Yes.
But they don't. So the next thing is to realize that not only do you have more experience than anything, but you love them more than anybody else on the planet. Mm-hmm. So if anybody has a right to be the cautioning voice in their life, mm-hmm. maybe not only the right, but the necessity.
Yes.
It's you. Right. And so don't ever forget that while you transition from being, somebody watching over a toddler mm-hmm. to being more like a friend when your kids are in their mid-20s,
right.
and certainly in their mid-30s, you're never not their mom or dad.
Right.
And they only have one mom and dad, mm-hmm. and you can't let them down.
Yeah.
If there's something that needs to be said, and you know it because you're the only person on the planet who can say it, for you to not have that conversation is on you.
Yeah.
And I think that's why God gave you to them. It's for those 3 or 4 important conversations in their adult life that will keep them from making absolutely horrific choices.
Yes. And I will refer to the episode where we talked about having adult kids and being able to help them through some of these, changes and some of their life decisions, actually, and how important it is to keep the relationship and what that relationship looks like. And I just have to say here, because we've raised 3 sons, and I feel very fortunate in the fact that I've had a husband who has been willing to speak to our sons in ways and keep the communication open. I realize there are many that do not have that. Either they are in a marriage, but they don't have a spouse or someone that will talk to their kids, especially as a mom of sons. And there's just a different relationship. It lets me have a different relationship with our sons. Not that I couldn't talk to them about things. And I do bring up stuff now and then, and it's like, whoa, where did that come from? But I feel fortunate that you have had those sometimes difficult conversations with them, and they have been accepting of that. And I love some of these organizations now that are helping of young men where you're almost like a surrogate dad in their life or something. I know there are people like that are just reaching out to their communities like this, but these are important conversations to have.
Yeah, and one of the things that an approach I take always is when I'm going to talk about something difficult with the boys, I minimize the difficult and phrase it as, listen, I'm going to give you my opinion. You're a grown man, and you can make any decision you want, and I'll respect it. But for you to make this decision without my opinion would be wrong on my part. Yes. So this is merely my opinion, and you got to really stick by that.
Yes.
You can't say I told you so.
Yeah. Yeah.
And one of the things that obviously comes up as they reach their 30s are financial decisions, and I think that's what we want to talk about next.
Definitely.
But the world basically wants to live in consumer debt, and I keep reminding my boys of this simple thing: you live in a growing economy. If you work and save versus going into debt, you'll end up well off. It's not that complicated. If you work and just buy less house and less car so that you can save, you'll end up well off. And with that in mind, the one little caveat I'd say about debt is that borrowing money to go on vacation, borrowing money to buy the bigger TV, borrowing money to get more shoes, that's called consumer debt. Borrowing money to buy a house, borrowing money to expand a business that will expand your income,
right?
Those debt choices are completely different and should be carefully considered because the careful use of debt to grow your income will increase your wealth over time. It's the debt that you choose when you, instead of buying the house that would net you a $2,000 a month mortgage versus a $3,000 a month mortgage. If you can live in the $2,000 a month mortgage and not go into consumer debt because you've got the extra $1,000 a month, you'll be way ahead. And it just requires saying no to your greed, really.
Yes. And this is such a important subject. In fact, I will link, in the article that I write with this to some of our other shows as well on finances, because I have Greg speak even a little further on this, on some of those decisions. And if you are you have kids, grandkids, whatever, or even for you, listening to some of those would be very, very valuable. So, okay, so we are going to, again, we can spend the whole episode, but we have on this, but this is a major milestone. We are going to go right to the last one, which is growing older. Okay, so I put a little comment in my notes that we just have to accept it, but it is hard. The body doesn't move.
It's way harder for me than it is for Deb.
Well, Greg's a former athlete, and he's just, there's a lot, you just want your body to do all of the same things and to compete at the same level and to do all of that. I was never an athlete, but I've always just moved. Just move.
Yeah, I got to share with you guys that I'm getting that stage of life where I'm losing my balance. I can't run. I have my knees are fine, but I'm just out of breath. Yeah. We try to play little games, and I can't bend over. I can't move sideways. And my brain tells me, go do this, and my body just it not only doesn't do it, when it tries, it does it awkwardly. It's embarrassing. And so I'm struggling with being embarrassed of growing older. Yeah. And Deb says just accept it, and she's right. But I have to get to a place where I can laugh at myself. And I think that's maybe the key of being somebody who grows old gracefully, is the ability to realize, age has won this one, and that you better learn to laugh at yourself.
Yes. I'm so glad you brought that up because as Greg and I have talked, empathy is low on my personal skills. I think all of our sons would agree. And Greg, I usually tell them, if something's wrong, well, just get over it and just, get on with it. And I'm really working hard at this point in my life to be a little more empathetic. But I think you're laughing at me.
Yeah, because the idea of having to work at being empathetic should find, lots of the people are laughing listening to this.
But I think there is a fact of that embarrassment, and especially because you have performed at such a high level in areas, and your body did things that, I've never been able to touch my toes. There are things just that my body has never done. And so I'm just thinking, well, it's just, I'm just trying to keep stretching and doing, I'm doing some yoga. I can't do half of the things that they're asking me to do, but I'm feeling like I'm getting some stretches. So, but I think all of those areas that you brought up that, with the balance, a big deal is balance, this part, a lot of people fall. And so we watched our parents fall and both sides, and your mom tripped and, all of that. So we are a little bit more aware of that as we gracefully are growing older, but we are in a great space and the whole thing, and we have plenty of years left. We are working and all of that, of course, but as that clock ticks, and I write about this in my Women in Halftime book, is, you look in the mirror and you see what used to be smile lines, and now it's like, ooh, that looks more like a wrinkle. So
that's right.
Yeah. So, and not to give up and quit, and that's a mindset thing. I do have programs on mindset, and I think that's very, very important during this stage of life. So, well, again, we've covered today our career choice, life partner, having kids, financial decisions, growing older, just a little bit on each one of these, but I hope it's really encouraged you. And what fun kind of approaching these. I feel like we've done this quick brush through here, but it's been really, really great. So thank you again for being here with me, Greg.
Sure.
Always enjoyable. And I want to remind everyone, tune in next week. I'm talking about how to organize a business around your life goals. A lot of people are looking for those life goals, and they may change now and then. They will change, actually. We even talked about that today. But how to organize a business around that, as people especially are doing a lot of reinvention right now, restarting, changing course, pivoting, whatever you want to call that. So you can find me anywhere, again, on social media, on womenathalftime.com, goalsforyourlife.com. Also on my music website, djworksmusic.com. I'm there as well. So to contact me, I love hearing from you. Please listen, subscribe, and I'd love a review as well, and share this with your friends. And thank you again so much for being with me today and with Greg. And it's just great to have him. Once a month we come on together. So thanks again there. And I will look forward to seeing you or being with you next time. Deborah Johnson. Bye for now. Thank you for joining us on Women at Halftime. Visit goalsforyourlife.com or womenathalftime.com for many more resources, downloads, and programs, or to get in touch with me. I'd love it if you leave me a review and tell your friends. So until next time, this is Deborah Johnson, signing off.